Hey, what's up guys? This is Brian at WhisperStatus74. Welcome to the community, welcome to the channel. This is the Sony X950H going against a Panasonic Plasma. This Plasma is an S60. You're looking at the Spears and Munsell demo disc. This video is a special request to Jellybean, who is new to our channel, new to our community. What's up, my friend? He was asking about the X950H versus a Plasma. He's had Plasmas his whole life. Keep in mind that this is an S60. This was the lowest end Plasma of that last legendary line of the S60 ZT VT60s. Still looks amazing. There's also a Curo in the house, but I don't have a stand for it, so we'll wait and see how that does. We do have the aperture lowered a little bit to compensate for both of them, as you'll see some horizontal banding due to the camera trying to capture both technologies. What's interesting here is you will see that even the Sony X950H, with its settings, we are still at gamma -2, the backlight's down to 10, and all the bells and whistles are turned off. So this is actually a deeper image for the X950H. The Plasma is in a cinema mode, so is the Sony. HDR is disabled. This is an SDR video playing through the Spears and Munsell demo disc. Please consider purchasing the disc in the description below to support their hard work. The X950H is a 4K full array local dimming LED, which is in the bottom, and the top is a Plasma. This is how I see them in person. These are darker images of these shots. There's a reason Plasma is so beloved. It is a very detailed, natural image, where even the LED at its, with its backlight so low, still is very, very bright. The LED does well here. You see the Plasma is completely black. See a tiny bit of haloing around the cactus at the bottom, but not a lot. Now, in controlled demos, the backlight does very well on the full array. Obviously, the Plasma does not have a backlight. We are running this through the Panasonic UB820, which does split the image through HDMI 1 and 2, which is an audio out. You can transfer that over to video. Thank you, Robert Zahn, for showing me that trick, using the actual Panasonic UB820 as a splitter, which is pretty awesome. See, there's a little bit more detail in the Plasma in that image. Here, the Plasma looks just as bright. Now, I did this test with the aperture unlocked, and it didn't change the blooming. What it did do, though, is create that banding from the frame rate. It's the only reason why it's locked here. And even when it catches the blooming, the camera normalizes. You can see the difference in the black level here. Not as noticeable in this shot. The demo disc is actually in 8K. But you can see why in this comparison why plasma is so revered even to this day. Now hopefully we'll see how the Kuro Panasonic Elite, or Pioneer Elite, excuse me, does against the CX and the Sony and the Plasma, the Panasonic. Both are pretty warm in terms of their color. More detail, as you can see on the LED here, same as when we look at OLED. The LED is also closer to us. It's only 49 inches versus a 65-inch plasma, which is farther in the background. The black level on the plasma is flawless. This demo disc does really push these displays to their limits. And again, we're in SDR, also recording in SDR. Plasma is still my everyday display here, until it gets replaced by the Sony 900E, which is downstairs at 75 inches. And then you'll see a new display in the basement. Panasonic has been my main display for years, and no issues at all with it. Sports, movies, video games, it's amazing. I do miss 4K and HDR. Other than that, there's no reason to upgrade to 4K, as Plasma is still amazing. Running some of my favorite demos on YouTube. These can wreak havoc on the camera. The aperture is not locked for these, as there's no issues with banding from the frame rate. You can see where it halos and then normalizes. The LG, the Panasonic is on top, 65 inches. The Sony X950H is on the bottom. Aperture is not locked. What you see is what I see. The flutter from the camera is on the edges of the dark room, but try to focus on the middle of the screen. You should be seeing this in 4K 30. You'll see where that blooming is there, the camera grabs that, and then you should see it disappear as the camera normalizes, which it does. So that's better representation there. You can see where the camera grabs it at certain moments. One of my favorite demos. Here's another of my favorite. This is the glass bowling demo. Again, we'll leave the aperture unlocked. You'll see it fluctuate, but it is a representation of what I'm saying. See, as you give the LED a chance to normalize. But look at that plasma, I mean, unbelievable. truly amazing image on both. This one is always kind of a corny one, but it is a cool demo in terms of what it shows off. This is from the HDR channel. Again, don't pay attention to that little bit of blooming that you see. Now you're seeing 4K at the bottom and 1080p at the top. But like the OLED, it's amazing how bright the plasma can look in certain instances. Oh, a little buffer there. All right. Like I said, it's a cheesy demo, but it does have some nice specular highlights and nice black level shots. This new one, Liquid Skies from the HDR channel, is actually really good as well. Please check them out, HDR channel. See what these two displays can really do. Now these are full screen demos, of course. If copyright wasn't so rampant on YouTube, you'd be able to see movies. You can see the black bars, things of that nature. It's just hard to show that without getting taken down. But these do look gorgeous, these demos. Again, keep in mind that the plasma is also an S60. As good as it was not in the same class as the ZT, VT, and even S60, though it was very close to the S60. To me, OLEDs and plasmas had that, were in the same family, they were all pretty good. Love to get my hands on a Samsung plasma, which are the brightest of all. I do have a Pioneer Elite I need to get a stand for. These are just very cool demos. Again, the plasma is 65 inches, it is on top, the Sony is underneath. Since we're not in HDR, I'll be able to edit this a bit. But a lot of times it's good to let the image just do the talking. The Sony can be a lot brighter, but in SDR, that's not how I would watch it anyway. In HDR, backlight would be maxed, gamma would be neutral, gamma here is -2. Backlight is only about 13 or 14. It does look beautiful. The chest video is one of YouTube's favorites. It does wreak havoc when viewing two different types of technology will let it fly, even with the aperture not locked. Now, the challenge you see with these comparisons is the camera trying to focus on two different technologies. The chest demo is a big one for many of us that have been on YouTube for the last few years. And typically these are videos that we don't get hit on copyright on. I am in the process of getting a new camera. The challenge with new cameras is finding a camera that does HDR, but also does 4K 60, which this camera does do. Keep in mind that the Sony X950H is the flagship of 4K lineup this year from Sony. Now, in closing, with the Spears and Munsell demo disc again at the end of all the YouTube clips as I edit them, is a lot of criticism for comparing different technologies. Almost every video I do where these TVs are compared CX to LED, a lot of people want to see OLED versus OLED. So I'm in the process of trying to get either the A8H or an older A9G. I will tell you, being with those displays for 4 hours during the Value Electronics shootout, they were so close. There was very little difference between them. To me, the fascinating aspect of these different technologies is we do have the choice between them in terms of value, size. So would you choose a smaller OLED for better blacks or a brighter, larger LED? You know, so I think that there's value in these comparisons. The plasma one is fascinating, but to see where LED has come and gone, but I do enjoy doing these comparisons. I'll be doing more of them as well as our other tech therapy and other content. Keep in mind, guys, this is a hobby for me. And I do enjoy helping people in the community. I do love to be interactive in the comments. The LG has brought along a lot of toxicity, which is fine. I've been on YouTube for a few years now, but this is something I'm doing for fun, trying to help people out and purchasing what is the best display for them. It's never going to be about the best display in general, but what the best display for you, for your usage, for your budget, for your viewing habits. And please keep that in mind when you watch these videos. I have a good time doing these comparisons. I do enjoy them. I do have a house with kids. This is not easy to put these TVs together and take over an entire room. So typically they'll be in a basement in a dark room. But know that for me, it doesn't matter. I'm a lover of technology. I don't need to defend one over the other. That's not something I care to do. I enjoy it all. I love the plasma. I don't think it's the best thing in the history of the planet. I love LED. I love OLED. I do like them all. If mini LED or micro LED come in and knock them out, I'm there. So don't always feel the need to defend your displays. Just enjoy them, but be as objective as you can and just enjoy the technology. We all will have buyer's remorse at some point. Alright guys, I am Brian at WhisperStatus74. Thank you so much for watching this video with me and for being part of the community and family. I will see you in the comments and I will talk to you soon. Take care.